Everybody has a hard stun, dude, except me. The only thing that I have is a hard cock. Let's do the build video. All right, heavy Paladin. Basically a different version of my medium Paladin. Of course, heavy now. Main focus is to just be very tanky. This is not so much a solo build, even though it's pretty good solo. This is really more like a group build. Like, you want to be in a group, you want to be at the front lines, you want to be a frontline bruiser, which is super nice on this build because you have great healing, you have still decent damage even though you're in heavy armor, but you're really, really tanky. I don't know how much armor we get. I think we're like definitely towards the 5,000 armor range. So I don't know how high I can possibly get. I never really locked the maximum, but it's pretty easy to get pretty high up there just with your smite, and you pop an orb of protection. That alone just boosts you mightily. But yeah, let's look at the build real quick. Of course, we're running the Void Darkblade here. People say it doesn't give armor properly. I don't know if that's true, because I've heard conflicting reports from both sides, saying yes, the armor applies correctly. Others people say it doesn't. Doesn't really matter here. It's still going to be one of the best heavy pieces that you can run. So yeah, we're running Void Darkblade with Freedom as our random perk here. Then we're running on the head. By the way, all pieces are heavy. Just so you know, we're only running heavy pieces. We're just maximizing armor. On the head, we're running a Strength Con, Freedom, Refreshing Health, and a Thrust Ward gem. I still think Thrust Ward is just the best right now because, you know, bows are just they can hurt. But we have a pretty decent setup here: 20% thrust damage and 10% for elemental damage types. So that's pretty nice, I would say. That should cover bows quite nicely because a lot of bows have a damage split of, you know, thrust and then some elemental damage. So I think with this split, you're pretty sturdy against ranged bow attacks. On the glove is, you know, you can do a better job than I have here. I didn't really get a good glove that I wanted. I don't want to say this glove is bad because, like, health, mending, protection, grit ward is still decent. But I think overall, I think you want enchanted ward over grit ward because we don't really go for a lot of grit on this build. You still have grit, of course, but you know, the grid ward comes in handy on a build that really goes a lot into grid and, you know, gets grid on light and heavy attacks, for example, which we don't right now. So I think enchanted ward would be the better pick here. Mending protection, put on here what you want. Mending protection is not bad necessarily. It definitely helps. But if you feel like you need a different perk here, be it a weapon perk or any armor perk, go for that. This is my weakest piece that I have here. I just couldn't find a better one. On the legs, Freedom, Arcane, Enchanted Ward with Focus, and Thrust Ward again. This is a really nice piece. I went with 4 out of 4 Freedom on this build because, you know, it's just, I feel like you benefit from this. If you want to be a frontline bruiser, you got to make sure you don't get stunned for too long. People can't put you out of commission for too long. So I think Freedom is super important to have. And then in heavy armor, you get CC duration reduction anyway. So it stacks on top of the 4 Freedom that you have. So any stun that hits you is not going to stun you for very long, which I really appreciate. And then, of course, Arcane Harnessing is really nice for a little bit extra damage. Of course, you don't really need it. You could go for health or whatever else you want. That would be amazing. But then Enchanted Ward, great, love it. I think you should always have Enchanted Ward because there's a lot of damage coming in from people just spamming light attacks, especially as a bruiser when you're constantly have people on you. Most of the damage, I would say, just comes from heavy and light attacks. So having that Enchanted Ward really goes a long way. Then the next one, Freedom, Shirking Fortification, and Health, Focus, Elemental Ward. it's not much more to say. Of course, Shuriken Fortification is my only Shuriken Fortification piece that I have on this build. You can use something else if you want. Of course, Enchanted Ward is great, as I said. But this one, you know, you get an extra 5% armor for a dodge. And since you have a lot of armor, you get a little bit of armor out of this. So it's not bad. If you wanted to, you could also focus more on Shuriken Fortification. If you have some pieces lying around that you want to use that have Shuriken Fortification, feel free to put that on this build. It's only going to make you more tanky. But of course, you gotta dodge an attack, which probably isn't that hard if you have like 5 people light attacking you. Just doing a little sidestep should definitely dodge something. So yeah, feel free to use more Shuriken Fortification on this build if you want, but this is what I have, and this works pretty well. On the shield, we're using Tower Shield. I've opted out of running a Kite Shield, which unfortunately, you know, it doesn't stun people, it doesn't stagger people when you hit them with the smite. But the Tower Shield gives you a ton more fortify, which is amazing on this build. So I would say definitely go with this one. The fortify, by the way, comes in when you cast smite. So smite does more damage if you have a round shield. Smite staggers if you have a kite shield, and smite gives you a ton of fortify if you use a tower shield. So that's why we're using tower shield. We want to maximize that armor. So yeah, this is this. I put refreshing on just to get my 4 refreshing stacks. I think that's something you should always do on pretty much all of your builds. You kind of want to have 4 refreshing. It goes a long way reducing all the cooldowns. So yeah, refreshing, I'm a big fan, so I put it on. If you feel like you don't need it, feel free to put something else on, but I think it is the way to go. Looking at the weapons, Syncretic Flail, just like the last build, Rogue, Mending, Vortex, Keenly Jagged, and then Empowered Gambit on it. Pretty good for damage. There's probably better ones, but this one is pretty easy to get. That's kind of why we're using it. Farming syncretic weapons is incredibly easy. They basically drop all over Brimstone Sands, so just kill a couple like mini bosses that you can find, and I think they not only drop from mini bosses, but they have a higher chance of dropping them. But yeah, just farm your favorite areas in Brimstone Sands, and you're bound to just get syncretic weapons, and they're all pretty decent, and you could just use them to you know, put a third perk onto them, whatever you like. So that's why we chose this one: Rogue and Mending, Vortex, and Keenly Jagged. Rogue and Keenly Jagged, of course, for the damage. Mending, Vortex, phenomenal when you really need some health quick, but you can't really swap to your staff, or your staff skills are on cooldown. You pop this thing. If you have a couple people around you, it's gonna siphon so much health. I love this thing. It's amazing. Next one, the swapping staff. So on the last build, I used a different staff that basically has the same stuff on. Let me see. So this one, Purifying Breeze and Purity of Light. This is the one from my last one. And swapping staff has the same thing on, has the Purifying Breeze, has the Purity of Light. But since my old staff had Vicious on, I thought I'll craft the swapping staff and hope for a good perk like Blessed. Unfortunately, unfortunately, I got Shuriken Flames. I got trolled. Thank you, AGS. Appreciate it. I'm glad that Shuriken Flames has such a high chance of rolling on a life staff. Anyway, let's not complain about it. I'm still using this one because this one's higher gear score. So, but yeah, definitely if you can get your hands on a swapping staff with any healing perk, like Blessed, of course, would be nice, but anything that increases your healing, that would be nice. We're putting a Rally Jam in, a diamond, just to, you know, like 15% extra healing while I am at full health. That, of course, is only going to apply to people that I'm healing. When I am full health, it's never going to apply to me, because I can't heal myself if I'm full health. I can only heal myself when I'm not full health. And when I'm not full health, I'm not getting the bonus. So yeah, this is not for you, this is for others. Next patch, next season, there's going to be a better choice for that. That's going to give you 5% on low health targets. So I would definitely consider using that one then, but I'm going to update you on that when we actually have it. Looking at the amulet, of course, we're using Ankh. Still think it's the best choice here. I put stamina recovery on. You can put on what you want, but I think stamina recovery is just, it's a no-brainer. It's so good. It basically gives you a full stamina bar back every 30 seconds when your stamina is low. I really like this. This is amazing. Like, it really helps in those like really stressful situations where you have to dodge a lot. This thing comes in, allows you to get a couple extra dodge rolls. Love it. So yeah, Ankh. This one's still the same as last time: Healing Breeze, Refreshing, and Sacred. I think that's a good combo. Ultimately, what you could do if you want to is you could take the Refreshing, put it on the body somewhere, so you can maintain the 4 refreshing perks. A good candidate would be the gloves here. Like I said, like, I'm not super happy with Grit Ward, so this could be refreshing if you wanted to. Because what you could do is you can have Healing Breeze, Sacred, and then Hardy. I would love to have Hardy. I couldn't get a ring that had Hardy on, at least not one that I could actually afford. Because like Healing Breeze, Sacred, and Hardy, that's a best in slot ring. That's going to cost you a pretty penny. If you can craft it, good. If you can get it for a cheap price, good. If you're filthy rich and you don't care about spending like 50 to 80 or maybe more money uh, on a ring like this, well, feel free to get it. I think this would be the better choice if we could put the refreshing on a body piece and then, have Hardy here on the ring instead. Like I said, I didn't have the money to buy that ring when I saw it on the market, so I don't have it, unfortunately. But yeah, earring, healthy toast, refreshing toast. You do you, but I think this is a pretty decent spread here. Get the healthy toast, so we get the extra health when we drink a mana potion. Another refreshing perk. I kind of like having the refreshing on my jewelry instead of the armor pieces, because there's so many good perks on armor pieces that I kind of want. And especially on the earring. Earring just doesn't have a lot of good perks that really interest me. So having refreshing on this is definitely the way to go, in my opinion. And then refreshing toast, just to get a faster potion cooldown. It cannot hurt. So yeah, that's basically the gear we're using. Stone form, of course, stalwart hard rune of stone form. Use whatever the fuck you want. I think this is pretty nice. I like the extra tankiness. I like the extra healing. This is what this build is all about. But if you feel like you have more success with something else, of course, use that. Consumables, of course, we're using a mana potion because we have the healthy toast here. You want to have a infused health potion. You want to have an infused regen potion. You don't need an infused mana potion because you don't really have mana problems. So you could use whatever mana potion is the cheapest. So yeah, it doesn't have to be an infused one here. And then we're using banana parfait as our food. If you want to, you can use some serums. They're expensive though, so keep that in mind. But if you feel like you need them, of course, please use them. Honing stone, whatever, incense, gem dust, use it if you want. I don't really fuck around with that too much. I rarely put on a honing stone. Sometimes I do, but considering the cost of them, I don't know. I feel like they don't really do too much for my builds, particularly because the focus of my builds is usually not so much the damage. So, but yeah, feel free to use them if you have the money. All right, let's look at the attributes here. Still, we got the 250, 250 attribute split, 250 con, 250 focus, and the rest goes into strength. The reason for that, as I said the last time, is Magnify sucks. And I originally I was going to go for a different split, but it just didn't work out with Magnify. And then we landed on 250, 250, which was also recommended by some people. And honestly, ever since I put it in, I didn't want to go back to my original split, because quite honestly, this is pretty good. I like this. This is pretty decent. Of course, you get a ton of health, and you still have good healing with 250 focus. I'll leave that up to you, though. If you feel like I want better healing, yeah, invest more. If you feel like you want more con, yeah, go for that. If you want to go for a higher damage split, of course, you want to invest a little bit more into focus and quite a bit more into strength. I'll leave that up to you. I'm just saying this is what I have come to like a lot recently. But yeah, those are the stats. Let's look at the weapon mastery real quick and then we're done here. So we're using Arcane Smite, we're using Arcane Vortex, and we're using Trip. You want to take all the passives here, and then we're taking Leader of the Pact, Spiky Impairment, we're using Oppressive Advantage, and then we're also using the ultimate passive here. And then over here, Cured Flailment, Flail Mary, and then Reinforced Vitality. Not sure if this one is working as intended, because I feel like my health should be higher with this one. So I'm a little skeptical if this thing is actually scaling my health the way it's supposed to. Especially looking at how much physical armor I have, but you know. You do you. If you figure out if this is actually working as intended, please leave me a comment and tell me your results. And if you feel like you don't want it, then we'll just use something else. Something that you could definitely use is, and I've been thinking about putting it in. I'd never done it though. The weighted superiority is quite nice. I didn't put it in from a medium build because I thought cooldown reduction when I'm dodging an attack, I don't know. Like my dodges for some reason never proc that for some reason, so never went for it. On heavy, of course, you get 1% cooldown reduction when you are hit or when you're blocking a hit. You have a 0.5 second cooldown on this. So this could be quite helpful. So if you want to put this in, you want to take this out, feel free to do that. I'll leave that up to you. But yeah, that's the flail. And let's look at the life staff real quick. We're using Sacred Ground, Orb of Protection, and Splash of Light, also known as the Clap Heal. And we're going in on all the passives here, and then over here on the healing side, we're using Desperate Speed, Sacred Protection, Absolved, Blissful Touch. That's really important. You want that one. Definitely do not skip this one, because this is the one that lets you heal your teammates when you just shoot a light attack through them. Super helpful. Revitalize, Enchanted Justice, and then of course we're taking Divine Blessing, the ultimate passive down here. And then over here on this side, we're taking Bend Light, and we're taking Protector Strength. But then again, like if you're an experienced healer and you feel like you want a different spread, feel free to do it. This is the one that I use. So yeah, you do you. And that's the build basically. We covered the gear, we covered the stats, we covered the skills. Let me reiterate real quick. So this is not necessarily a solo build, but it's pretty good solo. Damage might be a little low for 1vx, but you can definitely 1vx. I 1vx a lot on this thing. It makes people pretty angry. People don't like that you're so tanky and that you can survive so much. But then again, you don't have top damage on this build because you don't have a secondary weapon that deals damage. Flail is pretty low damage anyway, and you're not really built to do a ton of damage. You can still hit pretty hard sometimes, but overall, I would say this is best as a frontline bruiser. You want to be all the way at the front. You want to put down heals for yourself and others. You want to just keep smacking people with your flail and push the enemy back. This is what this build does best. So if you like playing group PvP, if you like playing OPRs, if you like playing wars, if you like playing influence races with your friends, this is the build for you. This will get the job done. And this is the build video. Hope you liked it. I will leave you a link to the build here. I've set the build up on newworldbuddy.de. So I'll leave that link in the description so you can click on it and check it out. It's probably better than just watching the video and like scrubbing through the video to find out what pieces I'm using. So here you get all the things that you want. You get you know, you get my stats here, you get my consumables, you get the skill setup, and of course the gear. I'll leave that, as I said, down in the description. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with another video soon. Next time, we're gonna do a glass cannon flail build. I definitely want to explore the damage side of flail. Want to see how hard we can hit. So that's going to be the next thing we're going to do. Look forward to that. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Dude, I need some fucking control here. I just hate when my guy's just like not fucking moving. My goodness. Everybody has a heart stun, dude, except me. The only thing that I have is a hard cock. I love how people are just like, just not taking any damage apparently. Whip. This build is still rocks. Can't nerf me. Won't nerf me. Number one player. China number one. Yes, thank you. Thank you. China number one. Best build ever.